Hey guys, Zov here with another battle for Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer. We're here with a replay from our favorite airborne Hispanic dish, Flying Taco, going to be taking the Warriors of Chaos against Norsca today, so let's get to it. He's got a bit of a Dragon Ogre themed list with Kolek, Shaggoth, and 2 units of Dragon Ogres, including the Summoners of Rage Regiment of Renown with their magic attacks and free Chain Lightning. Got a whole bunch of Chaos Marauders, looks like some Poison Warhounds as well, Sorcerer Lore of Death, and yeah, pretty straightforward for the Norskins. We have a look, looks like Berserkers up front, 4 units of Berserkers. We've got 3 Famir Warriors, including the Miststalkers, very strong build. The Armor Sundering, in particular for the Famir, synergizes excellently with those Berserkers, of course. Also got some Hunters here with throwing axes for nice armor piercing, Ice Wolves, and Beasts of Tashnar with more wolves out to the side. Wulfric the Wanderer going to be leading the way on foot, and he's got a Lore of Metal Shaman Sorcerer. So yeah, both Chaos hosts kind of sizing each other up in the desert here, trying to figure out who is the true chosen of the Dark Gods. And yeah, you can see Wulfric kind of running across the line, no doubt screaming threats or encouragement to his troops. And yeah, we're going to get started with a Spirit Leech. Kicks off the battle of Chaos forces moving up. You can see the Norscan forces making sure to kind of maintain a little bit of a high ground position here. There's not too much of a slope, so there won't be a whole lot of extra damage there. But yeah, Berserkers should cut through Marauders, obviously, just fine. This is going to be a really nice engagement for Norsca in the front line here. You can see the Warriors, if you will, kind of counterattack here a little bit back. They're going to bring the Spawn forward. Now, the Spawn will wallop Berserkers pretty decently. That being said, because Berserkers just have high total weapon strength in general, they still will hit those Chaos Spawn pretty hard, even though they're more meant as anti-infantry. Get kind of crashed on here by some Dragon Ogres, meanwhile other Dragon Ogres and more pushing up and around the side. These Famir Warriors in a little bit of trouble here. These are not the great weapon Famir, so they're not going to be as good against these monsters, but they still do pretty good armor-piercing damage. They're going to be fighting this Shaggoth here. Meanwhile, the Dragon Ogres and Kolek getting into a nice engagement in the center. We've got the Miststalkers and the other Famir coming in. Famir are just better than... they're probably the best monstrous infantry in the game. They're, even still, after a long time. Nice final transmutation here is going to do a ton of damage to this blob of Dragon Ogres and just absolutely rip them apart. That being said, they have dealt with 1 unit of Famir, almost 2 units of Famir entirely. Likewise, Wulfric taking quite a bit of damage. The Miststalkers, though, with their 52 melee defense, are able to hold up quite well in this engagement. Both those units of Dragon Ogres as well just got shredded by that final transmutation. That the damage scaling, again, for that, anything like Spirit Leech or Final Transmutation going to be very good against any low model count units. A nice Chain Lightning going to be used here against a lot of the Hounds. Norscan Marauders kind of back away, or sorry, the Chaos Marauders, rather, back away there a little bit. But yeah, that Chain Lightning, and not the best RNG in the world, but pretty decent placement. That being said, Kolek kind of gets caught up in the center here. There's plenty of throwing axes to deal damage to him at range. And the Dragon Ogres aren't really holding in terms of support. They're getting terrified away by those Miststalkers. And Wulfric the Wanderer on foot obviously doesn't count as large, right? So the Dragon Ogres and the Shaggoths, bonus versus large, will not count against him. And the fact that Dragon Ogres have low armor, I mean, the Shaggoth with 70 armor is pretty good. That's not amazing, but it's okay. Dragon Ogres themselves, 60 armor. Again, it's decent. It's not amazing. But Wulfric has pretty good weapon strength, 490, 70 melee attack. Can definitely make consistent hits on those Dragon Ogres themselves. And yeah, you can see the balance power turning pretty quickly against Norsca. A little bit of an unfortunate situation for them. Or sorry, turning against the Warriors of Chaos in the favor of Norsca, rather. Yeah, these Throwing Axe Hunters haven't got compromised too much. One of them took quite a bit of damage there, but the other one's doing just fine. 36 melee attack with pretty decent weapon strength on them as well. They can actually fight reasonably well in melee. Only 20 melee defense is not amazing, but yeah, their offensive stats for a skirmisher especially are very, very strong. Even better than something like a Free Company or, you know, like something like a Savage Orc Air Boy. Probably have less weapon strength than Savage Orc Air Boys, but yeah, comparable melee attack stats. And of course, their excellent armor-piercing damage. They do have very short range, but you don't see the Throwing Axe Marauders used super often. I do think they are a little bit of an underrated pick in certain matchups. This is one matchup where they definitely can shine. Any matchup where you're really worried about facing a lot of elite halberds or infantry, or if you obviously want to go to be able to, I should say, have the insurance of using the axes against the infantry or against monsters, right? Because with the javelins, certainly you can get great DPS on any monster, but they don't do nearly as well against armored infantry, right? And while Norsca does have plenty of tools for dealing with armored infantry, those throwing axes definitely can help. You can see the warriors kind of making their final stand here. We've got a few berserkers still fighting, but Kolek and his forces getting very close to critical army losses. The fact that these Miststalkers are still here is very important. The characters being very healthy, the infantry also. There's just a lot of stuff left for Norsca, so a rough day for Taco there. We've got one more from him that I'm going to show you guys, so we'll get to that in just a minute. But yeah, Dragon Ogres, they did okay here. I think this is, yeah, they're in a little bit of a weird spot right now because they're kind of expensive. Their defensive stats are okay, but yeah, they do get outshined a little bit by Famir, in my opinion. I mean, they're obviously much faster than Famir. They hit really hard, have great anti-large damage, just in general very good. But I think especially the Summoners of Rage are going to struggle a little bit to be cost-effective. That free Chain Lightning certainly can make them pay off if you use it appropriately, but a unit this expensive with low model count and no healing is relatively glass cannon-y. And yeah, it can be taken out relatively easy, especially by something like that Final Transmutation there from King of the Dead, beautifully placed on that blob of Dragon Ogres. You can see Marauder Berserkers also cleaning up quite a few kills there. And yeah, the Famir actually got wrecked pretty hard by the Dragon Ogres. I mean, maybe there's a little something to it there. Just instead of taking quite so of headstrong of a build, I might actually, like, say, cut these Chaos Spawn, go a little bit wider here, just go with like more hounds and stuff to try and harass the periphery, make sure you chase off routing units. Like a lot of these Famir that had been routed off could have been chased off by some additional hounds and stuff. Maybe just get like some Marauder Horsemen or something. I don't know. There's some different things you could do, certainly. But yeah, like as I mentioned, I have one more battle from Flying Taco, so let's get to it. Next up, appropriately enough, for the desert, we've got the Tomb Kings going to be taking on the Lizard Men, so you know the reptiles are happy about being out in the desert. And for this build, we've got Arcan on foot, Necrotect, Dreaded Hero Titan, plus Casket of Souls. The combination of the Hero Titan plus the Casket actually gives you quite a bit of extra Winds of Magic. The great increase to power reserves from the Covenant of Power on the Casket of Souls is very nice. And obviously, you get an additional power reserve increase from the Spirit Conduit on the Hero Titan. So, for somebody like Arcan the Black, he does have that life-leeching lore attribute here. He can get a lot of Winds of Magic very, very quickly. We've also got some Sepulchral Stalkers here, Blessed Legion of Thakakth, Skeleton Spearman, Tomb Scorpion, Kepler Guard up front. And yeah, for the Lizardmen, of course, this is Felcon. We've got a Feral Dreadboy Salon with a whole bunch of Pterodons up in the air, including the Pahawk Sentinels. Single unit of Temple Guard, no, 2 units of Temple Guard, cohort of Sotek, a couple of Saurus, and plenty of Skinks. They are under the banner of Sotek as well, which I have to say has to be my favorite color scheme by far for the Lizardmen. Absolutely gorgeous. These Temple Guard. A little bit almost green for this this background here, but they do blend in relatively well with that desert environment. Nice camo. But the Tomb Kings have a pretty good position here. The Casket can generate a ton of value besides, obviously, the Winds of Magic increase, shooting in at these Temple Guards. A beautiful contact there. That's going to be the ideal target for them to shoot at here. They could also potentially try and shoot at the cohort of Sotek, but honestly, they have squishy enough defensive stats. You could probably deal with them other ways. Yeah, the Kepler Guard are going to be a bit of an issue here. They do have good weapon strength and anti-infantry since the changes in one of the recent patches. I forget, I want to say it was with Hunter and the Beast. I could be wrong, but they're pretty solid against Saurus right now with the high weapon strength and anti-infantry. They can make solid contact and really just cut through those Saurus very efficiently. They do have good enough melee defense, plus their regeneration means they won't just get instantly pounded by the Saurus as well. with their lower armor, but engagement's going to be getting underway. You can see Drop Rocks comes in. Doesn't make the best contact, but it probably is going to do enough to start crumbling those archers. No, not quite. Did quite a bit of damage to them, but you can see the Sepulchral Stalkers gazing up into the air, screaming. I don't know, whatever the attack is, I forget. And the Lizardmen getting a nice full surround here, or at least attempting to. They don't quite have the numbers for a complete full surround, but a nice skeleton summon here to kind of break up the advance over on this side. Meanwhile, the Pterodons, the Pawhawk Sentinels especially, just got shredded very quickly by those Sepulchral Stalkers. Now they can pull away and start to go on some of these other units here. It looks like we're going to be getting a banishment right on top of those Kepler Guard. Those also tag those Saurus a little bit there, but beautifully done. Going to do a lot of damage to that elite infantry. Also got a regrowth on these Temple Guard. They also had a Fate of Buna cast, so just kind of tit for tat there. Man, that banishment came in and did a ton of damage, and unfortunately did hit those Temple Guards as well that had got that regrowth. So a little bit of an unfortunate situation. Meanwhile, over on the far side, we've got the Hero Titan coming in. The brave Hero Titan wants to fight the Feral Dreadboy. So the true Kaiju battle going to be getting underway. Two of the largest unit models in the game here. Not actually fighting each other, instead just fighting the chaff around each other. That's just amazing. Oh man, those skinks are getting absolutely pounded there, though. That's not a good situation for them. Kind of take an overarching look here. You can see that those Sepulchral Stalkers came in. They're taking quite a bit of the range fire here, and they're also getting eaten by the Dread Saurian, but the casket is still online, which could potentially prove to be a mistake. See, the Tomb King's infantry is actually winning out for the most part. Some skink cohort pulled back here after getting terrified. Got a couple of Temple Guards still fighting on the various wings, but for the most part, the Saurus are pretty much done for, and the skinks are not long for this world either. So, Tomb King's actually taking a pretty good advantage on the balance of power for the time being, but of course, with a Dread Saurian and a Life Slan, you're pretty much always in the game until those two things are gone, right? So, certainly plenty of potential for the Lizardmen to try and stabilize here. And there comes the attacks on the casket. A little bit late to try and save some of those infantry, but certainly only takes a couple of hits from the big boy to get that bony pile crumbling. And there's the Hero Titan. Hero Titan plus the Scorpion, both relatively healthy at this point. The Necrotech hasn't had to use his Restore much, but a very nice not Hand of the Gods. Shem's Burning Gaze bound from that Hero Titan there. Does force the Dread Saurian to enrage. Also gets a Spirit Leech. Shielded the old ones to try and mitigate some of that damage there, but yeah, a potentially dangerous situation. Arkan just continuing to chat around on foot, doing his best Vlad impersonation. A few Tomb King's troops crumbling over here. We've got some stabilized Temple Guard and Saurus. Another Temple Guard stabilizing here. So Lizardmen look like they may be able to potentially pull this one back. A Cold-Blooded on that Feral Dread Saurian keeps its leadership in check, keeps the Rampage also in check. The remaining Pterodon Riders can throw their little jabs from the air, try and finish off these Kepler Guard here. The Kepler Guard, though, very healthy. They're, let's see, how much HP have they actually healed? If I can have a look here. Over 1,500 HP healed already, so some good tanking by that unit. But this is potentially a devastating banishment, although it is also going to probably do some good friendly damage. Nope, the RNG mostly goes directly over the Tomb Kings there. Now, after sort of rolling back and getting some of those Temple Guard as well, but that probably, yeah, sends those Kepler Guard into crumbling. Going to help stabilize this potentially here. The Dread Saurian, though, still, again, very low, and it looks like we're going to see the second Shem's Burning Gaze there from the Hero Titan. Oh, unfortunately, quite a few of those missiles ended up missing there. Did not force the Dread Saurian to enrage, nor did it force the Dread Saurian to rout. But Cohort of Sotek still fighting here. There's still plenty of Pterodons in the sky. They don't have any ammo left, but they can come down and fight and try and help this situation stabilize here. Slan has to have plenty more Winds of Magic to be able to heal the Dread Saurian. It's just a matter of having the time to be able to collect that magic. Here come the Pterodons. They're going to come in and do what they do best. One of the things they do best, that is, and just kind of block everything up here with their mass. Dread Saurian then can try and single out some of these single entities. Single entities. Anyway, it's a dating service anyway. A kaiju dating service. single entities in your area. Hot, thick, dreads. I don't know, guys. Anyway, let's get back to the battle. Scorpion getting in here, and now you can see the Tomb Kings, all of their single entities kind of piling up here on the Dreadsaurian. A greater regrowth, though, and keep in mind the Vigor refresh here is super important. Getting him up to fresh, whereas all of these Tomb Kings units are going to be exhausted, aka debilitated. That means this Dreadsaurian is fighting at full efficiency, more or less, and that will be super critical in this late game situation here. Slon also relatively healthy, can continue to kind of provide his buffs and everything, so we'll see. Looks like the Scorpion got pretty much deleted there. Nope, it's still about half alive. But very nice use by Falcon of these Pterodon Riders, just keeping them, you know, charging up in the air, then coming back down, keeping these various single entities surrounded so they can't support each other very well. You can see like the Necrotech Tomb Scorpion over here, Arcan separated from the Hero Titan. These units over here are all crumbled away, so Lizardman might be able to pull this one back here. It's definitely looking very doable. Oh boy, Dread Boy wants to say hello to the Scorpion again. Maybe. There it goes. Nice attack there. But unfortunately, it looks like the Hero Titan comes from behind. And Kalita, of course, as well. Or, sorry, not Kalita, Ark in the Black. 450 weapon strength. Not the best AP values, but the fact that he can continue to summon skeletons as well to bog things up. Speaking of which, 140 summoned skeletons here, continuing to fight quite well. And somehow there's 3 cohort of Sotek also fighting here, providing a little bit of poison. But more aura of pretzels for the Dreadsaurian. That armor and melee defense going to be very key. And if he could potentially snipe out Arcan here to stop those skeleton summons, stop the spirit leeches, balance of power has been slowly grinding in favor of the Lizardmen more and more as the battle kind of progresses here. The infantry sport's just about gone for the Tomb Kings. The Kepler Guard are pretty much done for, and there's still a bit of Lizardmen infantry. There's still a handful of Saurus, Skinks, other units here. Looking pretty good, actually, for the Lizardmen at this point. But the Titan, the dreaded Titan, is definitely going to be a menace to deal with how much HP it has left. Likewise, Arcan and the Necrotect might potentially be dangerous. You can see them coming over here to get some attacks against the Slon. Slon Boy could potentially be in trouble. He actually gets pushed by the Dreadsaurian into the Hero Titan. Will the Hero Titan do an attack? Doesn't look like he did. But, yeah, the Slon did end up taking a little bit of damage in that engagement there. Monster Mash will just go out for some time. There's the Curse from the Tomb Kings. That is going to do a ton of damage to this big blob of Lizardmen. Might actually finish off like these Temple Guards and some of these Saurus Warriors. We'll see. Somehow that one cohort of Sotek with 2 HP is still going. Oh, man, what an absolute G. And it's pretty much just the Titan left, all solo, with maybe the characters. Yeah, looks like the Necrotect is still here. Arcan is currently in the process of getting eaten by the Dreadsaurian. Just absolutely, yeah, he's gone. He's a goner. Wow, he actually got up. Well, that's slightly impressive for an undead skeleton. Oh, come on, finish him off. There we go. He's gone. Please tell me he's gone. Nope, he's a survivor. Man, he's got some melee defense. Yeah, it looks like the Dreadsaurian's just been mostly whiffing on those attacks, not actually making contact with those attack animations there. But the balanced power dead even at this point. Getting rid of Arcan is going to be a huge step in the right direction. The question is, can the Dreadsaurian actually get rid of him? It's whiffed on several melee attacks in a row, which is just super painful. And whiffs on yet another one there. That's just the RNG element of this game. You know, sometimes things go a certain way. Sometimes Arcan gets punted halfway back to Nehekara and gets to summon another unit of Skeleton Warriors before he finally bites the dust. Maybe? Nope. His melee defense is still working. And, yeah, the Hero Titan comes in to try and finish off the Slon. The Slon, not that great of a combatant. He's got okay melee defense, but the Hero Titan could definitely take him out. And since Arcan is just refusing to die over here, finally takes the killing blow just there. with now the Saurus being routed and the Slon is also in trouble, I think honestly because Arcan took so long to die right there and just like blocked basically that many hits in a row, he was able to distract that Dreadsaurian just long enough that he actually took the Slon out with the other units. So excellent close game, super fun one. Big thanks to Flying Taco for sending those ones in. And yeah, the Hero Titan was just too strong in the late game there. A lot of damage early on in the Dreadsaurian. Despite that, credit to Falcon staying calm there, using the banishments to very, very good effect, and using the healing to good effect as well, keeping that Dreadsaurian in the fight into the late game. I honestly think it really just came down to Arcan refusing to die. I think that was literally like 7 to 10 attack animations consecutively with no hits, or maybe like 1 or 2 hits only, which is, I mean, given the attack and defense, what I remember in the battle there, I want to say it's probably just close to the 35% base chance to hit, which, you know, missing like 3 or 4 of those in a row wouldn't be that far out of the realm of possibility, but missing like 10 in a row like that is just painful RNG. So thanks again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.